Well, we set a record high temperature down at Raleigh yesterday, and we may be threatening some more as we get into this afternoon. Take a look at some of those numbers again to kind of put in our back pocket for what to aim for this afternoon. 69 degrees here in Columbia. That's about where that is where our record high is. Down in Boonville, I think Moberly, you're going to be maybe one of the spots that's in the most trouble to hang on to that for another year. 65 degrees up in Randolph County for that record high temperature. Getting into this afternoon again, temperatures topping out in those mid to upper 60s. Kind of depends on some of that cloud cover, how much of that works its way through this afternoon. I think we're going to be back in the upper 60s for a lot of us, threatening 70 degrees. So a great way to roll into Hanukkah as we get into tonight. Speaking of, overnight lows falling to about 40 degrees. So it's going to be another mild start to the day as we get into tomorrow. Unfortunately, though, clouds increasing late. That's a sign of things to come because rain chance is going to be on the increase pretty quickly as we get into our Friday. There's a lot of sunshine for our Thursday, but there's the rain right around the corner as we get into the early portion of Friday by about 7 and 8 o'clock in some of our western counties. And once it starts, it's likely not going to be really letting up a whole lot as we go throughout the day on Friday. It'll come and go in intensity, but you want to have that umbrella handy as we go all throughout the day to close out the work week. By about 8 and 9 o'clock, maybe starting to see some of that dwindle, but we still have those rain chances. When it starts to get interesting, though, is as we get into Saturday morning, could be mixing in enough cold air to flip a few of those raindrops over to some snowflakes here as we get into the first part of Saturday. A lot of that moisture, though, is going to be kind of departing off toward the east. So we'll see. It's kind of a race of how long we can hang on to the moisture and how fast we can move in some of that colder weather across mid-Missouri. It doesn't look like it's lining up, though, very well for us, for anyone that's maybe rooting for some of that snow. Looking at Rain Tracker, again, a pretty healthy dose like I alluded to earlier. About an inch is what we're expecting just about across the board. Some spots going to be getting a little bit higher amounts than that. Again, in terms of that rainfall amount, could see some light grassy accumulations up around Macon and Moberly in some of our far northern counties Saturday. Looking at that game day forecast, though, I think a lot of it's out of here by the time the Tigers kick off on Saturday. 11 o'clock kick, so again, it's going to be kind of a race against how long we can hang on to some of that moisture as the Tigers get set to host the Bulldogs here on the first day of this weekend. It's not going to be a fairly pleasant game in terms of that weather. Hopefully in terms of the game itself it is. But second half of Saturday, really not moving a whole lot in terms of temperatures, and actually we kind of back up as we get into Sunday. Only looking at highs in the upper 30s to get into the final day this weekend. We do a little better, though, as we get into next week, back into the low 40s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.